Good day, dear students. Today, let me take lesson number 3 of civics, that is Prime Minister or Councils of Ministers. Here we have to study about the appointments, formation of Council of Minister, tenure, function, policy making, administrative, legislative, financial, emergency, and power and position of the Prime Minister, collective individual responsibility, and differentiate between Council of Minister and the cabinets. So let's start with the Prime Minister. I think in this lesson I have already taught in the school for section B, and section A it was not completed, so I had to make a video for it. So let us continue the lesson. The Prime Minister. The constitutions of India provide for a Council of Ministers with the Prime Minister at the head to aid and advise the President. The President acts in accordance with their advice in the exercise of his function, and the President may require the Council of Ministers to consider their advice, but he shall act in accordance with the advice tendered after some reconsideration. As you know, our is a parliamentary form of government, so our President is only a nominal head of the state, and the Council of Ministers, headed by the Prime Minister, is the most powerful institution in the Indian politics. So, how the Prime Minister is appointed? The appointment of the Prime Minister is done by the President, and the President cannot act arbitrarily in this appointment. According to convictions, the President invites the leader of the majority party or group in the Lok Sabha to form the government. The member of the majority party or the groups elect their leader to be appointed as the Prime Minister. And the President then appoint him as the Prime Minister when no party wins the absolute majority in the Lok Sabha. The President may have some options in the appointment of the Prime Minister. But the President has to appoint the person who can prove that he has the support of smaller groups or party in order to have majority in the House. That means a person or a party which win the elections and form the majority party can become the member. Any one of the member can become the Prime Minister. But if no party win any majority, then they can form a coalition government, and the President appoint the Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers on the advice of the Prime Minister. There are three categories of Council of Ministers, and they are the Cabinet Minister, the Minister of States, and the Deputy Minister. In the first category, the Cabinet Minister are the most important member of the Council of Ministers. They hold important portfolios like Home, Defence, Finance, External Affairs, Railway, etc., etc. A Cabinet Minister is in charge of a ministry and sometimes of more than one ministry. Only cabinet minister have the right to attend meeting of the cabinet and together determine the policy and programs of the government. So the cabinet minister are the senior most minister, the most important one. They can have meeting with the government and they can form the policy and programs of the government. Second come the Minister of States. They are the second category of ministers. They may or may not hold an independent portfolios, but they may or may not consult by the Prime Minister or may not participate in the cabinet meeting. They may be invited to attend meeting when matter concerning their departments are considered. Third category, the Deputy Minister. They are the third category of minister who assist the Cabinet Minister and the Council of Ministers. They are the junior minister are placed under senior minister whom they have to assist. They take no part in the cabinet deliberations. The Constitution of India does not specify either the numbers of members of the Council of Ministers or classify the member of the Council into different rank. Now, they may be up to the maximum numbers of ministers allow is 12. This step was taken to check the defections from one party to another and also to curb the government expenditure on account of jumbo size ministry. Jumbo size ministry means a large size ministry. Now let's study about the cabinet. The cabinet is composed of a small but important body of senior leaders of the party who are included in the Council of Ministers. And this cabinet minister hold important portfolios mean department, and decide major policies of the government. They are the trustworthy person or men of the Prime Minister, form the nucleus of the administrations. The cabinet take important decisions. Such decisions are communicated to the other minister and they have to follow this decision even though they might not have been party to such decisions. As we have already known that the Minister of States and the Deputy Ministers, especially the Deputy Minister, do not take part in any of the meeting and all the information is given to them by the other Council of Minister. Now, appointments of the Cabinet. The Prime Minister select all the Ministers of the Cabinets and advise the President to appoint them as his Cabinet Minister. The terms of office, they hold the office during the pleasures of the President, but the President has little power even in the regard because the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers are directly responsible to the Lok Sabha and can remain in office so long as they enjoy the majority support in the House of the people, that is the Lok Sabha. The Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. At the same time, what are the power and functions of the cabinet? One of the administrative function is here, the legislative function is here, the financial function is here, and the emergency power is here. So, the most important administrative power of the Council of Ministry is policy making. Implementation of policy is the second. Coordinating the functioning of various ministers and appointments are some of the important functions of the administrative function of the Council of Ministry. The cabinet formulates both external and domestic policy of the government and take decisions on matters such as defense, economic policy, security needs, and president role in a state, etc., etc. Then this policy has to be implemented and they convey the message to the Minister of State and the Deputy Minister of the concerned ministry and they work out the detail and pass it to the civil servant under the ministry to implement the decisions. The cabinet coordinates the working of various departments for the smooth implementations of government policies. Any government policy improving like public health service, increase in government revenue for its formulation and implementation. Now, appointments. All the major appointments, though made by the presidents, are decided upon by the cabinet, and such appointments refer to the appointment of judges of the Supreme Court, High Court, Governor of State, Chief Election Commissioner, and other dignitaries. So these are the administrative functions of the cabinet. Now we could go to the legislative function. One of the most important functions of the legislative is the introduction of money bill, source of information, amendment to the constitution, summoning the House of Parliament and presidential address, issuing ordinance. The cabinet and the Department of Administration take initiative in legislations. It is the cabinet who plot the bill through various process of legislations from introduction to the final stage of the bill. As we all know that the money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, but ordinary bill can be introduced both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The minister along with the secretary of the concerned departments answer questions put to them by the member of the Lok Sabha. The cabinet also help in the amendment of certain policy and to the constitutions. Although the House is summoned by the President, initiatives in the matter is taken by the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs. The Cabinet also prepared the presidential address to the Parliament. And ordinance is being issued when the Parliament is not in session. So if the question is asked when ordinance is issued, then it is issued when the Parliament is not in session. The financial function is there, budget is there, finance of the government is there, introduction of money bill is there. I have already told you that the money bill can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, and in the budget session the finance minister prepared the annual budget containing estimate of income and expenditures for the ensuing year. For the whole year, the expenditures is controlled and financed by the finance minister. At the same time, emergency, the president can have the power to declare war or peace, and the president cannot declare a proclamation of general emergency under Article 352 of the Constitution beside receiving in writing the decision of the cabinet to the effect. It means to say that if an emergency has to be declared, that the president should have in written the advice of the council or minister, then only he can introduce his president ruled or emergency in any territory or in any of the states. The second part, the Prime Minister and the power of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, as I have already told in the previous lesson, that the President is only the nominal head and head of the government is the Prime Minister. So, but in the parliamentary democracy, the Prime Minister did a closely judged not only by the opposition but by the member of his own party. Prime Minister and the President has a link. It is on the advice of the Prime Minister that the President summons and prorogates the Parliament and dissolve the House. The Prime Minister chooses a minister and on his advice they are appointed by the President. He advised the President on various appointments to important posts such as judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court. He is linked between the President and the Council or Minister. So the link of the Prime Minister and the President is very important. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet. The Prime Minister and the Cabinet, see, he is the leader of the Cabinet. The Prime Minister is the leader of the Cabinet. He has the power to allocate portfolio and reshuffles the council or minister. He also has the power to select and dismiss the minister. And he can direct and coordinate the policies of the government. Resignation has to be submitted to the implies the resignations. If the Prime Minister resigns, then the whole ministry has to resign. The Prime Minister inside the Parliament. Now, what is the role of the Prime Minister inside the Parliament? He is the leader of the Lok Sabha. As the Prime Minister is the leader of the majority party, he is said to be the leader of the House. Spokesperson of the government is the chief spokesperson of the government in the Parliament. He is the defender of the government policy. All the policies that the government issues has to be defended by the Prime Minister. Intervention in case of controversial issues. In case of controversial issues, whether in the international forums or inside the country or outside the country, everything has to be handled by the Prime Minister because he is the leader of the House, he is the leader of the country. The Prime Minister as the leader of the nation. The Prime Minister represents the nation, and during national crisis like war and even the oppositions and party, he has to support, all the party has to support the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister tried to protect the interest of the country in international forum also. At the same time, all the work of the Prime Minister has to be checked. So it is the opposition which keep a check on the power and functions of the Prime Minister. There are two types of responsibility, collective responsibility and individual responsibility. This is very important, students. Collective responsibility means when all the ministers of the department are collectively responsible for a particular work that has to be done by the ministries. This is collectively responsibility, and the principle of collectively responsibility is that the decision taken in the meeting of the cabinet are equally applicable to all the ministries. All ministers jointly share the responsibility for the government policies. A vote of non-confidence against one ministry is a vote of non-confidence against a whole ministry. So it is already been said, if the Prime Minister resigns, then the whole ministry has to resign. This is the collective responsibility. Individual responsibility are the ministry individually responsible for their own departments. As I have already told you that they are given different types of portfolios, mean different types of departments are given to them. So all the ministers are equally responsible for the different departments they are carrying the work. So this is called the individual responsibility, and they hold the office till they enjoy the pleasure of the precedence. This is about the lesson. Read the lessons, write the short questions in your copy, so that when we come back, I can check the copy for you. And if you have any confusion, you can ask me. Thank you.